done, do the same thing with the next one. You don't have to add a ton of glue, just enough to where it'll keep it from folding over. That one's done. The other one, when I first started doing these, I actually sewed them in. That's why I made the eyelets. But I just make the eyelets because it's easier to make it that way. But I don't use the eyelets for sewing anymore. I just use it to keep it from pulling out. So these three are secure. Yeah, it might come out, but it's going to take a while before this undoes. And it doesn't matter with those eyelets that I made, it's not going to go through this small hole. And hopefully you should notice it when you're putting it on, if it's good or bad. So I'm going to use a little bit of tape. What we're going to do with this one is we're going to tape these pieces down so they don't move on you. I'm going to go ahead and throw some tape here on all three of them. This is just to keep them so they're in the right spot. And we'll do the next one. Same exact thing. And then the third one. So some of these, it might be a little tight, the hole. Once I get done with this, I can make the hole just a little bit bigger. And I'm just going to make those go on the inside. And I'm actually going to close it now, so I'm going to push it so it's nice and tight. Line it out. I'll do 3 strips with that. So now, okay, that's good. Now it's lined up exactly where I want it to close. So now, I don't know if you can see it from the inside, but they're just laying there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some spray it. I'm going to fold these over so they're laying like that. I'm going to glue it, spray it, and then I'm just going to put it in the spray, and I'm going to pull it just a tiny bit. Let it sit, and then go to the next one. The end ones are easy. The middle one's a little bit more of a pain in the butt. So I do the end ones first, and then I move to the middle one. So again, I'm going to move it over so it's laying flat, or somewhat flat. I'm going to spray, and then I'm just going to go ahead and glue about 3/4 of it. I'm not going to glue it all the way down, because it's got to stretch just a little bit. I'm going to fold it over and hold it up just a little bit, tight. Let it sit like that, maybe spray just a little bit more, and there, it's glued in. Come to the other side, do the same thing, fold it over. Can you see me? Okay. This one's a little bit trickier because there's not as much room. I'm going to spray. I'm going to go ahead and glue it best I can. I'm going to fold it over, grab it and pull it just a little bit. Hopefully I got the spray in the right spot. And then there you see it needs a little bit more glue. So when I'm done, I'm going to open it up and then I'll come in here and glue it down just a little bit more. So I'm going to go to the end that's just a little bit more open, because it's easier to glue the second one that way. So I'm going to come up here, spray it. I'm going to fold it over, glue. I'm going to glue it. Bring it over and pull it tight just a little bit. Hold it flat, and there you go. I'm going to take the tape off, and it should stay exactly where it's at. How much time I got?
11:14.
Alright. So, there it is. And then I'm just going to come up here, take the tape off. Take the tape off all 3 of them. I'm going to put the sniper knee in. Just so you guys know, this is the left leg. There's the shim, faces in. So the sniper knee goes on the left leg. So I'm not going to have these connected because I want these spread out as much as I can. I've already made a mark on the sniper knee where I'm going to actually glue the front part to it. So I'm going to glue that first, then I'm going to bring these sides in, and just the ends, I'm going to glue them down. So I'll glue them down separately, but first I'm going to glue this one down. I've already had my buddy Todd help me make those. So you ready, Todd?
Yep.
Alright, so you're gonna spray in there. Hopefully it doesn't wipe off the mark. I'm gonna do some glue. Go ahead. Alright. There we go. Got it lined up. I want to keep it down low, so just in case the glue doesn't run down, you don't want it to run down. So you want to keep it as flat as possible. Okay, so now that's in, but it's definitely not sturdy. If you look at it, it's in, but it's not sturdy without the other side. So I'm going to do this side. So basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue it, spray it, and then I'm just going to bring them together and hold it in there. Now I'm going to do the same thing with the other side. I'm going to push it in so that it's lined up, just like that. So what you want is this line is going to follow the line that slants up. So you're trying to follow that line on both ends. Are you ready?
Ready.
So I'm going to go ahead and spray it first. And I'm going to glue it. And again, I'm going to glue it so that the glue is not facing up. I'm going to hold it down. So there's a lot of pressure on this. Maybe not. Let me glue it down just a little bit further. Try that again. This is very hard. This is the hardest part of all the armor to do to get down right. And that's the main reason right there. I might have to get my clamps for this one. I can feel the heat, so hopefully it would get caught. I have to put a little bit more glue in there. So it finally caught. Catch some more. This is probably the most stressful part of the whole build right here. I've done many before where I tried to glue these on and I have glue just dripping down by accident. So I'm telling you, keep this as flat as you can while you're gluing it down. So this is just a tiny bit long. I'm going to go ahead and cut just a little bit of this off. A little bit better. Angle it in just a little bit. Okay, there we go. So now I'm going to do the same thing. This one's a little bit longer, so hopefully it'll be a little bit easier to get in there. So I'm going to go ahead and put some glue. Put a good amount this time. Spray it. And hold it down and hope and pray. Wow, look at that. That side made it. And no glue has ran down. Okay, so there's a sniper knee all done. Pretty hot, feel it. Alright, so onto the helmet. The last part I have not done on the helmet. I've already painted it all. I have to go over a couple spots on the helmet. And then probably a couple spots on the teeth. I noticed right in here, there's a little bit. Actually, there it goes. I'm going to go in there with a small file anyways and just sand those little edges down. So I did not like how they made it into It looks like the B-1 bomber. Or no, wait, what's that one, stealth bomber?
Mm-hmm.
It looks almost like that. I'm going to trim this down, cut it in half, and what I normally do is make like a little oval. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut the edges just a little bit. There we go. That's all I want to do. There's a little bit of glue on here. Actually, it kind of comes off. But this hot glue is not going to cut it in Arizona. This does not, when on a hot day, the hot glue will fail on you. So I'm going to make 2 of those. And I'm going to put them in. And I'm going to tape them in. Once I have them taped in, I'm going to use the E6000 and I'm going to glue. Wherever I don't tape it, I'm going to glue it. Let me go ahead and get the other side real quick. So the reason why I do it this way is it just looks a little bit cleaner in the inside. When you make these rounder and you make them more of a, I don't know what you call it, more of a Nike emblem, whatever. So I like this look a lot better in the teeth. So there we go, both pieces are pretty close. I'm not going to use this glue right here because this glue doesn't work very well with this, whatever you want to call it. I think it's like a screen or something for a window. So I'm going to go ahead and get some pieces of tape ready. Cut these in half. I don't really need them quite that long. So wherever there isn't any tape is where I'm going to glue it. Once the glue is dry, then I'm going to go ahead and E6000 where the tape was. I'll take the tape off and E6000 it. So I'm going to put in these little strips in key areas. Okay, so that side's in. I've come to some people after I've made their helmet, I still have the tape in, and I notice some people still have the tape in there, and I'm like, why you got the tape in there? As soon as that stuff is dry, take the tape out. So make sure when you're done that you take the tape out and glue where the tape was at. Okay. So there you go. Now, get some E6000, and then I'm going to just glue in the spots wherever there isn't tape. Glue in the teeth, in the middle of the teeth, and then all the way around. And then, like I said, once I'm done, and this is dry, tomorrow I'm going to take all the tape off, and then I'm going to go ahead and glue where the tape was. So that way there's tape everywhere. So now there's E6000 glue. I'm not going to touch it, smear it. I'm just going to leave it like it is. Let it dry overnight, take the tape out, and glue it some more. It should be good. One thing I noticed about this is it's got one little crack here, another crack here, another crack here. So I got ABS paste. So what I'm going to do now is go ahead and hold these together right here, and then I'm going to bring some ABS paste and I'm going to put some in the back. Just strengthen it up. Okay, so these are the 2 spots I'm going to put the paste. I'm just going to use my fingers. So here's the ABS paste. Just going to dab my finger in there, come up from behind. Can you see that? And come up from behind, and I'm just going to dab it in there and strengthen it up. Do a couple little dabs, and if it's not strong enough, I'll let it dry, and I'll go back and do it again. this stuff is wonderful. This will help any part of the armor that breaks, or you crack it or whatever. You just put this side on the side that you won't see, and it'll help strengthen it up. It's ABS strips with acetone, and it melts the ABS strips into a paste. And then once you put it on, that acetone melts not a lot, but it helps this ABS paste melt with whatever you're putting it on, so it makes the bond. It bonds really well to the other ABS. Just be careful wherever you put it. If it might warp it. If you put a Gob-A-Lot on there, it's going to warp because the heat. There's a chemical reaction, so it could warp it, and then you're going to have a warped part on the outside. The good thing is where we're AB pasting it right now, it's in the very bottom. The S trim is actually going to hide it, so you won't even see that. So just be very wary in any spots, like around the frown, if you wanted to put it there, anywhere around the tears. Because I've seen some people where they're complaining that right here is really shallow, right here is really shallow. So you can do that, but just be very careful. Don't put a lot, and build it up over time. Do a little bit here, do a little bit there, and then that way you don't warp that plastic, because this plastic is very thin. I'm sure you guys know how thin it is. If I can sit here and bend it with no problem, it's very thin. So just be careful using the ABS paste. You can use it, you just got to be very careful with it. Kind of have a spare piece of ABS paste and just put it on there and experiment and see how well it reacts, and then you can go from there onto whatever part of the armor that might need it. Alright, so today I'm done building everything on this kit. It's totally done. It took me, I think I've worked on it 3 days total, but maybe 35 hours altogether. He's still got to come over. We still have to do the snaps for his shoulder bells. We have to do those. And then we have to trim the bottom of his shins. Possibly we might have to trim the bottom of his thigh and maybe the top of his shin, just so that he can bend his leg. So until he's here, this is all I can do until he gets here, and then I just have those couple little snaps to put in, and then trimming the legs, and then it'll be done. And we are going to go Centurion with this, so hopefully if he comes today, we can finish it today and actually submit his pictures, and maybe be the first one, because he's already 501st. So all he's got to do is just submit his pictures, and then he can go for EIB first, Expert Infantry Badge, and then go Centurion second. All right, thank you.